It's Monday, 4th of August, 2025, and in today's show, we discuss a comedy of errors at Bloomfield Road as a very disjointed Blackpool crashed defeat against Stevenage Borough in the League One curtain raiser. I'm John Aspinall, and this is Seaside's podcast match reaction show. Blackpool 2, fortunately, Stevenage 3.
It's already changed the world. A small town from the north of England with a great tradition.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Seaside's podcast. First match reaction show of the season. We've got Tim, Raggy, and Brad on this evening. I wish this was coming in happier circumstances, Tim. We were all built up. Start of the season, positivity, and Blackpool.
A wave of optimism. A wave of optimism turns into a tsunami of gnashing of teeth. In fact, your Shakespearean analogy, I would have said, rather than a comedy of errors, I think it needs to be one of the Shakespearean tragedies, our performance on Saturday. So I'll let the viewers decide which one.
Bro, Raggy is so blurry, man. What have you got to say about that, Raggy? Can you put another 50p?
What I've got to say is, am I blurry? Am I a bit blurry? Is it the camera?
It's an improvement, to be fair.
It will be, but that who's writing that's my little boy sat upstairs.
Oh, is it? Bro, Raggy is so blurry, man.
I know. It was.
What is it? Lack of wind,
Get off it,
blurry
Marco.
vision.
Yeah. Dear me.
Get to bed, Marco. Get to bed. He's my dad anyway. Welcome, Raggy. Anyway, not been on for a while, so good to hear your thoughts on a Saturday and beyond. Brad, welcome back. Not been on for a while yourself.
I know, it's been a while, hasn't it? Goodness me. I had a new job at the start of the year and it kind of took over a little bit, so I'm glad to get amongst the team and watch the football again.
Using squad rotation this evening. But right, let's get on with it. Tim, before the match, first thing I noticed was all the stadium improvements. We had heard of them, I've read about them in the press, but to see them in the flesh reminded me a bit of the Premier League season, you know, when we saw all these changes in the stadium.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I had those sort of vibes.
No, it was good. I think a lot of people have got down there quite early because I think we got into the north must have been about 20 to 3, or maybe in half 2, thinking it's going to be the usual shit show outside when you try and get in at 2:45. But there's a lot of people in there, whether they've been lured in by they do a cheap beer deal, don't they, if you get in at a certain time. But yeah, it was really pleased with the safe standing in the north. But somebody's mentioned that some of the front rows haven't got it. But I didn't really notice that myself on Saturday. Don't know whether you noticed it, Raggy.
They had it where I was. The front row.
And I've watched it. I've watched a bit of the highlights before, and it seemed to be on there. So anyway, I'll have to. It was something on the BST group that somebody had been suggesting that the first number of rows hadn't got it, but it looked like there was there to me. I won't haul you over the coals again, John, with the. But you know the east,
the colour of the panelling on the
colour of the panelling. Yeah, don't
worry. I got it in the neck from several people in the stadium, listeners, viewers to the show. I got
you outside the stadium.
People.
I got you outside before you went in. You remember? Come on, you oranges!
But doesn't that tangerine panelling make a massive difference to the stadium? Because you can't see out anymore. It makes it look a lot more professional and like
more permanent as well. I think it makes the stand look more permanent. And I think they're going to carry on and do it in the west and the north. But I thought the contrasting colours on the under part of the roof in the south looked pretty good as well. I only saw it from a distance, but it looked all right. So yeah, it's. I don't think the PA system's still up to much, but I don't think they've done anything with that yet. I think a few people in the west were whinging it had been turned up, but you still can't hear it in the north. It doesn't matter how would you make it. Whatever you hear is just distorted rubbish. So hopefully that gets sorted soon. But generally, it looked good. There's some flags I noticed up inside in the north on the concourse. A couple more flags up behind the seats in the north, which was good to see. And a few, if you can get anywhere near the bar, we'll come back to that. Some new beverages to sample, Guinness and whatever. So, overall, it was pitch look. I know we've lost the groundsman, but the pitch looked fantastic. I think it looked exceptional. So everything was set up for a fantastic opening day, wasn't it? The sun was shining, the sunnies were on, the shorts were out.
Spirits
what could go
high.
wrong?
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
The team.
It was all leading up, wasn't it? It was, to be fair, the atmosphere at the start, the north was absolutely rocking. Massive shout out to the club, to be fair, because obviously I know I spoke before the pod, but it was actually my first time for my girls to come to the match as well. I've been begging them for so long, and it was actually quite a nice experience to bring the girls, obviously. And shout out to the corner where the junior Seasiders were as well, because it was actually a really nice atmosphere at the start, with parents bringing kids along, and there was actually more kids in the corner than there was adults, which was really nice to see, to be fair.
Is that where you were sat, Brad? Yeah, in the
southwest?
I
was in the southwest, so I was literally sitting in the corner, and the girls loved it. It was, you could hear the north, chanting away, but obviously it was just a nice blend. And massive shout out to the club that gone and done that, because it was quite nice as well, because Bloomfield Bear was there and he was interacting with the kids a lot more. So I thought that was really good, and I thought that was a nice experience, especially for any kids that that are going to be up and coming, that are going to be fans for life. It's just a nice first experience for them, really.
Cool. Raggy, do you think the safe standing had a bit of a tweak upwards on the atmosphere in the north? I think it did. I don't know.
It's loads better. Yeah, miles better. Looks better. Feels better. It was. I was laughing when we scored because people were jumping up on them barriers, standing on them. Thought that's the next letter coming from the club straight away. Instead of bit of common sense, let it happen for a few games and the novelty will wear off. But I thought it was good. I thought the ground looks good, and the pitch definitely. And there's, in terms of the day that we were saying there, being busy and lively, it was. In fact, behind the two Preston games of late in the Championship, that was the biggest day we've had in the Anfield Club since it opened.
Right, fantastic.
Wow.
Selling beer-wise, yeah, we sold over.
It looked great outside your place.
Yeah,
great outside your place. All the flags out and everything before the match.
There must have been some sore heads. We sold 1,500 plus pints on Saturday.
Wow.
And 7 litres of vodka and all the rest of the stuff.
6 litres from yourself, though, so that you can't count that.
It was mentioned that.
Red Bull stash has all gone away.
Oh, yeah, no Red Bull left.
Only Red Thunder, 39p from Aldi for the great unwashed.
Sad that. No, so it was a good day. It was a good day all in all, and I don't think people were too down afterwards. Probably a bit disappointed, but they definitely drank themselves back into good spirits later on anyway, so hopefully it was just a blip. First day of the season blip. Get on with it.
Fingers crossed, lads. Start
11 came out a bit earlier than usual, about almost just gone 10 to. And Tim, they more or less, I think it was as we picked on the pod.
Exactly.
Obviously, we'd sat with, exactly the same. We had signed Emil Hansen sort of the day before. Did you expect him to feature? And were you surprised at all with that 3 at the back formation that we'd picked?
Well, I think we decided between us on Thursday night, haven't we, when we picked the team, that he really didn't have a lot of choice. And I think as we're going to discuss, looking back, perhaps it was a mistake and perhaps we should have stuck to the system. But he's tried to put what are our best starting 11 onto the pitch, and I'm not going to be overly critical about that decision. But yeah, I mean, we picked that team, didn't we? And
would you have picked the same team had Hansen come through the door before we did the pod? I think had we had that winger, we're only one player out of position then, aren't we?
Yeah, I think what I would say is that bringing a player in on a Friday, he's probably not trained with the team at all, and chucking him straight into start when you've got a starting 11 that sort of knows, albeit not this system, sort of knows how each other plays. I think it could have gone both ways. It could have been, as it happened, he looked quite good when he came on, but I think maybe half a game was enough for him. So I think I'm with Bruce on that decision making there. I don't think on the face of what we knew that you would slot somebody straight in like that. To be honest, to a certain degree, whoever they are. But so Bison said he trained on Friday. I didn't know that. I assumed with him being announced on Friday that he was at the club and doing all the press stuff that you do and whatever. But it's I look at that and thinking, are you going to drop players who you see as being in and around the starting 11 to accommodate a newbie? I think perhaps it sends the wrong message to the rest of the team if you start doing that.
Anyone else got any thoughts on that? Phil's just filled us in, by the way. New EFL rules team sheets now 75 minutes before KO. Didn't know that, Phil. Thanks for that. Any other thoughts on
I think
lineup? Go on, Brad.
I think that was the best team that Brucey could have lined up. To be fair, I think chucking Hansen in too early, that was devil's advocate. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Either he pulls it off and does really, really well, or the other bit is why on earth he's just chucked someone into the deep end. It'll just wreck his confidence.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a difficult one. I agreed with the last pod. I think that we needed a stronger midfield, especially with Honeyman coming in. I was very excited to see him play. I know we'll talk more into it in the first 20 minutes of the game, but I think in the back three was the best way to go about it, definitely. And having the front two, I think up front, I think that had to be done as well.
Okay, as the game kicked off, Raggy, we're almost 1-0 down in a minute. Less than a minute, 36 seconds, if you recall. Right in front of us.
He'll have been still in the bar at that point.
Oh, yeah.
I might have been. I am trying to recall it. Was that where... what was going on? Was that where Horsfall was sort of shielding the ball from their attacker, was it?
No, it was White. White broke, I think it was a header to him. To be fair, he got a good strike and keeper got down well, didn't he? Peacock Farrell. He actually made a good save, I thought. It was one of those horrible shots that you sometimes see sneaking in, and it's first minute of the game, it's the type of we'll come on to the errors, but being the first minute, I thought he coped with it really, really well.
Obviously, that scare, Brad. First 36 seconds of the game down your end. Our first chance of the game. Good work from Brown. Was it Brown? Shot just wide, played in by Evans. We'll talk about Lee Evans after this, but an ideal response, and we nearly hit back straight away.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, I thought the first minute, I think we were very nervous as a team, as I think you would at any first game of the season for the first minute. And I think once the first chance that Stevenage had, it kind of woke us up quite a lot, to be fair. And that shot that Brown slipped through, it worked really, really well, to be fair. It's just unfortunate we didn't really see anything out of it. But I do feel like the first 5 minutes, once that chance was made, I felt like we grew into the game very, very quickly. And I didn't feel as though Stevenage, certainly from my perspective, looking at it from our end at the south, I didn't feel like that Stevenage was really in it, even though the chance that they had for the first minute. It's quite a weird one, really, how I felt on that one.
Yeah, there was quite a feeling almost they were going to get overawed, especially when Honeyman scored. Brad, obviously down your end again, and I did notice a couple of their players after that goal had gone in, giving it the just calm it down motion to their entire squad, as if they were going to get blown out of the water, with that early goal going in and the noise when that goal went in.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say, Honeywell, the way he managed to, because I managed to see it at the corner, because some of it was covered up by the goal from where I was in the corner. But what Honeywell kind of done, he managed to
Honeyman.
compose himself because he. So I know it's been a long day today.
Don't mix
Honeyman-
up Casey
Honeyman-
and Carey again. At least you won't,
Oh
you won't do that.
Jesus! Don't haunt me! Don't
That's
haunt
been
me!
remembered like my orange
Jeez.
faux pas.
Oh Jesus! I thought I'd got away with that. I thought I had a 6-month hiatus and not
You
get
can't get
remembered
away
for
with
that again.
anything on
Jesus!
this. I'll never live down the orange.
Oh, let me wait till you speak to my 10-year-old daughter saying that post was a bloody orange. Jesus. No, Honeyman, he managed to get himself up really, really quickly and managed to get because the defender was completely out of it by that point. He couldn't turn over it quickly enough to try and defend. And how he struck it was absolutely beautiful. The keeper couldn't do anything about it. What I quite liked as well was, I think it was Fletcher. He was actually in the centre waiting for any deflections that came through, just in case if the keeper, managed to save it. That built a lot of confidence for me, to be fair. But yeah, it was a good goal, to be fair. Well executed.
Can I give an honourable shout out to Evans, because I think that was the one time in the game he actually found a Tangerine shirt with one of his set plays. It was actually,
to be fair,
a half decent ball, and a little bit of a cushioned header from Coulson was quite decent as well. But yeah, it all looked rosy at 10 minutes, didn't it?
He was looking good, to be fair. I was thinking, do we get a second? Oh, should we go bigger? Should we go for a third one?
Apparently last season, I think I saw this on the highlights thing, so I won't claim credit for it, but they only got 14 points away. So that's like probably 2 or 3 wins and a few draws, isn't it? 3 wins probably.
But it was 14 goals, Tim, wasn't it?
Oh, was it 14? Oh, yeah. Maybe with my age, I'm getting a bit deaf. So they probably got even less than 14 points. And I thought I heard him say they got 14 points.
No, they got 14 goals all season.
All right.
I think as well at the start of the first half, I think the ref was making quite a statement as well. I think and Stevenage started to clock onto it quite well, that if they started going down on the floor quickly, the fouls would start coming their way, and getting free kicks or stopping the play. And I think the linesman, especially where Butler was on the left, he was always trying to make the decisions of trying to trick us coming over to get the throw in. And there was a couple of occasions where he actually touched Butler, but the linesman gave it to them anyway. And it was like, what's going on here? That's not accurate at all. So I think the referee and the linesman didn't play a good game on Saturday at all, in my honest opinion as well. Which will come
what I really noticed with Stevenage was that they were in the ref's face.
Yeah.
Every single decision, whether it was their decision or whether it wasn't. And the reality is that often gets you a few 50-50s, doesn't it?
It does.
If you're permanently, and literally, I forgot which guy it was now, but one of them, every single decision, he was at the ref about it. And
it was Reid.
Was it Reid? Was it without going over the top, but just making sure that they heard all the time. And eventually, I'm convinced it gets the ref. They start it's not every decision you get, but you'll start to get the 50-50s.
But you'll notice what I started noticing was Butler was trying to get into the ear to us, and it was trying to get under our skin and try and frustrate us. And Stevenage was very, very good at doing that. And they managed to play. Well, I don't know how we did it, but we always seemed to play it in their hands. So all those 50-50 decisions that didn't go our way, the Stevenage clocked onto that straight away. And what they tried to do was try and get the game plan, stop the play, stop us from playing football. Maybe that kind of caused what Evans did in the second half. But what I did notice, and it was prevalent, was we kept playing on the left as well. We were never going to the right. And when we went to the right, we soon passed it back to the left, and the Stevenage knew we were doing that, and they just kept bolstering the squad to their right. And we just couldn't break out of midfield.
They knew Blackpool's danger man was Honeyman, and they marked him and they clattered him. They went through him from the back. The referee didn't give him enough protection. They had a game plan. They were very well organised, and I think it was him and Ennis, to be fair, John, as well. I think they targeted Honeyman and Ennis. I mean, I lost count how many times Ennis got fouled. And I think what they did is when they made all those subs, I think they took off all the players who got a yellow card for fouling Ennis. I know I'm jumping ahead.
and then brought on another
Yeah.
4 or 5, so they could all have another go. Obviously they did for Honeyman at by half time, didn't they? So in that respect, they'll be coming off that pitch thinking,
Job done.
Right, job done.
Mm.
They were listen, credit where credit's due. They were incredibly disciplined, and you know they played every single card in the book. And as we'll go on to discuss, it pays off.
Well, you make your own luck, don't you? And they've been gifted 3 goals quite fortuitously. Raggy one in front of us in the north, their opening goal. What was Horsfall doing? Aided and abetted by.
I have no idea because I've no idea because I was watching it. You're not expecting it coming, are you? So it was a great through ball for their striker.
Defense split.
Like you were just saying, we all 3 goals. Oh, it's wonderful. Get him up front. We've gifted him all the 3 goals, haven't we? The positive for me out of the whole day is at least we gave them all the goals, which means cut that out. And, hopefully it can be cut out. Because if we're going to play with a team like that, I mean, the stats there, not enough shots. We're not shooting. How are we going to win the game? Especially when we're 3-1 down and we've got total shots 3. So we never even had a chance of winning the game, did we?
Raggy, we were playing from the back all the time. The second goal, no, the third goal was clearly where Peacock should have just cleared it, and he didn't, and he passed it, and he shouldn't have passed it, because then all of a sudden Stevenage got the ball, and that was it. That was 3-1. That was it. Job done for them, and the crowd are bloody cheering in the corner.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, listen, I can't go in depth on stats in football games. I'm not interested. I'm interested in I'm interested in the moments where you're jumping like, ooh, come on. There's very few of them. Shot after shot, we should have been having.
I think it's because of our formation, Raggy. We were back to Critchley ways.
That's it.
Look at the XG. The XG says it tells the tale, doesn't it?
Of course it does. But we didn't look like we had a game plan. I must admit, I was saying from the end of the first half, we might as well just stick everyone up front now, who's 6.5 foot, and start lumping the ball, because we're just going to be playing like this over and over. I mean, little did I know that Evans was going to turn out to be so bad in the second half. But he should be a good player, but he's just not.
I was quite surprised he was captain. Were you?
I don't know.
He was captain, wasn't he?
Mm.
He looked like he had the. I thought he's not.
He just looks like he's
for me.
Yeah, he looks. But he looks like a good player. He looks like he's got everything. And he can't keep misplacing balls like that. Mispass, not beating the first man every time he kicks it. It's weird. Don't know what it was. And he was getting a lot of abuse, I must admit, from some people, particularly near me. They were slating him and he was hearing it.
Let's get back on track in the order of the game anyway. Just before we go on.
That helps the matter, but I can understand the frustration. It's got to be. I don't know what it is. That lack of concentration. Go.
Formation.
Oh, you want me to get back on the game?
I'll lead it, Raggy. You're all right. We did nearly get in.
You go.
With Ennis fires one over Tim, and then we had an even better chance to score not long after that when Ash Fletcher, sublime piece of skill, puts himself into a great position. Andy Lyons bursts down the right. He's in a perfect position just to slip him in. And Ash Fletcher, hard work done, just kicks the ball out for a goal kick. That's Ash Fletcher of old at his worst, I think.
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of Ash Fletcher from the beginning of last season, didn't we? Going back to the Ennis chance, he hits the target, he scores, doesn't he?
Mm.
It was so
I expected the net to bulge there.
Yeah, and he's created a little bit of space for himself. I think it was on his left foot. And he just had to hit, as my brother is wont of saying, hit the fucking target. And it genuinely, I couldn't see how he wasn't going to score. And that one was incredibly frustrating, because I think that came right after their, if I remember rightly, right after their equaliser. So it would have been a great way to get back into the game. I must admit, I didn't get a clear angle on the Fletcher one, but generally over the game, I thought Fletcher seemed to be very much back to the player we didn't like in the first half of the season before he miraculously managed to get Fans Player of the Year.
Could you agree that?
Near to you, Brad, I guess. that failed through ball.
Yeah, absolutely shite. It was plain and simple. It was shocking. I was thinking, the way I was thinking with Ashley Fletcher, I felt like Ennis was put an absolute shift in on Saturday. Absolute shift. And I do, and one of the lads has just commented, and I was about, he's just took the words right out of my mouth. I do feel like he's in a league below where he should be. I do believe he's a championship player. And I do think he was overcompensating where Ashley should have done more, and there was sometimes he was lacking pace. He was lacking, trying to get that, that extra yard to get the ball. And ultimately the lads just started lobbing it right over to try and get to Ennis because there's no other way getting to him. And for the first time, my wife did say to me, "What the hell are you on about?" Because she doesn't really follow football. Well, I literally just turned around and said, "We're missing Apter here. This just proves that Apter just goes to Charlton. We've got no suitable backup to replace him, who's an experienced winger, to be able to attack the defence and try and go at it. And we just haven't got it. And we just, it's like the big bad wolf, isn't it? You try and huff and a puff, and you just can't blow the house down, can you? And that's why it just felt like just repetitiveness, and they were just trying to do the same old thing, and it just wasn't working.
2 chances gone, Tim. Then last kick of the game. Last kick of the first half. Coulson was injured pushed over in the build-up.
He seems to get pushed over a lot on Saturday, didn't he?
Yeah, Coulson was pushed over. So someone pushed over the lad that did that to Coulson. Referee gives it to Stevenage. Just the ball lofted into the box, and you're rubbing your eyes when the refs pointed to the penalty spot. But I've seen the replay.
Yeah, I didn't spot it in real time.
I didn't. But I've seen the replay. You heard all their players go up for it. You heard them all claim for it. Refs points to the spot straight away, and you think, what the hell is he doing? Heck, way there, scooping the ball.
When you watch it back, it's clearly deliberate as well, isn't it? It's not a mistake. He's done it deliberately. He's tried to flick it away from his head, just as he's about. And I won't care. He wasn't going to score, was he? It wasn't like one of those stupid goal line saves you make just to stop a goal going in, and then you think, shit, why did I do that? Because I'm now going to get sent off or something. Or he literally meant it. And you think, you fucking idiot. It's I mean, the fact that we played 10 minutes injury time in the first half is frustrating because of all them repeatedly going down and trying to break up play, and just using that the professionalism we spoke about before. But the fact of the matter is, we're playing out the last minute, and you don't want one of your defenders sticking his hand in the way of a ball like that. It wasn't. Sometimes they're a mistake, aren't they? Where the 2 players are going and you have a leading hand as you go up. But that wasn't a leading hand or leading arm, I should say. That wasn't a leading arm that just catches the ball. That was a deliberate flick away from the attacking player. Mental.
The only mitigating factor I can think of is he's nervous on his debut, and nerves just make you do funny things sometimes, and that's the only explanation I can possibly.
I'll just call him an idiot.
But they've scored the penalty. Should the keeper have saved it, Raggy? Got 2 good hands on it. What do you think?
There was a lot of power, wasn't there?
I don't blame the keeper. I thought the keeper went the right way. He got his
hands
hands
on it. You probably should save him. I mean, I don't.
It's powerful, isn't it?
It's in. Yeah.
I think Raggy needs to go off and come back on.
Yeah, Raggy, you're really delayed. Just drop off and come back on, Raggy. We'll continue.
So I managed to see the penalty on is he all over the place? Oh no, technical difficulties.
Go on, Brad. Your thoughts on the pen?
I said, well, where I was looking at, obviously, that I know that they got the ball in, and I did a Nick Smith. My daughter wanted to go to the toilet. I said, "All right, come on, we'll go." And and I saw it on the screen. And when I was looking at the screen, when I first initially looked at it, I thought from the camera angle, he looked like his hand was touching his shoulder, the Stevenage player's shoulder. So I didn't quite make out if it was a penalty or not. Obviously, you saw it a hell of a lot better than I could have.
We didn't think it was a pen from where we were. We didn't see it. And
I initially looked at it and I went, that's not a pen. That looks like it's someone who's, when they're trying to jump up and they're using, someone's shoulder to try and get up to get the extra bit of height, to get the leverage. That's what I thought was being done, if that makes sense. So for me, when I saw it, when the ref put the point at the spot, and I was thinking, hang on a minute, did he just give a pen for that? And I literally spoke to a random guy next to me going, was that a fucking pen? And he was half cut. He looked like Raggy on 7 Red Bulls and vodka Red Bulls on the doubles. And he was like, what? He didn't have a clue. And I'm looking at it and I just couldn't believe that the penalty was even given.
Well, do you know, my mate messaged me, who was watching it on TV, and he said that's a disgrace of a decision. Obviously, he only saw it back once and maybe not from the right angle. But he said that was a disgrace of a decision. That was never a pen. And he watched it back. So I think it's only when you see it at a certain angle. And obviously, unfortunately for us, the ref saw it from that angle. And he's right.
It's one of them, isn't it?
It's a right. It's a
50-50, isn't it? Some miss it, some don't they? Unfortunately, we got caught, and unfortunately, it was a penalty. Yeah. But I think there was a lot of things leading up to that which could have prevented that from ever happening. And we could have kept it at 1-0. There was a lot of things leading up to that. And after that, you could tell the heads were bowing down straight away. And they were just losing confidence after that. I think it was the worst thing that Stevenage could have done to us. Had they had scored at the 38th minute, we would have been okay. I think we would have built momentum again.
Yeah, it's the worst time to concede a goal just before half time. Affects the dressing room. So Steve Bruce, Tim, made 2 big changes, two personnel changes and formation change. He'd seen enough and went back to his tried and trusted 4-4-2.
Well, most certainly with Honeyman, it was enforced, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think he ends up in a boot. I've never actually established where the lines was pulled.
It was tactical.
Right, okay.
That's what Bruce said, which is
quite surprised because I actually thought he was playing all right, Lions, to be fair.
Well, why do you take your only right back off and then put Ollie Casey there, who's your best centre half? So it's like a double whammy at the back.
Yeah, and it is a bit. There's a bit bizarre, that, isn't it?
Hansen coming on, obviously that's fine. Straight into the wing. Hansen is actually a right-footed winger, so you could have put him on the right. Coulson and left wing. At least he's on his natural side.
Yeah.
Leave Lyons on. That probably would have been, in my opinion, a hell of a lot more effective than what he'd set up there.
Because I was pleased for Lyons in the first half. I think
I thought he did all right.
You mentioned the Brown shot, and he I think if I remember rightly, he played the ball through for that, and he was getting out, he was getting up to the top end of the pitch and getting involved in putting some crosses in. So I was gobsmacked when he went off, and I just assumed he must have been injured, but based on obviously what everybody's saying, it's tactical, and but like you say, I think there was, it's hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But playing a centre back out of position when you've got a right back doesn't make a huge amount of sense.
Well, it's not hindsight, though, is it? It's just common sense.
Well, no, it's hindsight. Hindsight, bearing in mind the way the game goes in the second half. But when you think about it logically, you're putting square pegs into round holes again, aren't you?
Twice, two of them.
It's just another decision that Brucey, and I won't criticise Brucey too much because I know he had his hand tied, one hand tied behind his back with the injuries that we've currently got. I think he was just trying to put patches on the situation where he could try and salvage maybe a point, and I think that was what his mindset was, to be fair. I
didn't disagree with the formation change. It's just the personnel. I just thought it was weird.
I think the personnel did cause the outcome of what happened with the third goal, to be fair. I don't think it helped the situation at all. Do you know what I mean?
You're nearest to that again, Brad, so talk us through it.
I think the problem that we had was defence. Defence was absolutely shit, to politely put it. I think the keeper lost confidence. I think I felt sorry for him in a way because every decision that he made, it backfired on him massively, and I think he lost his trust. I think Horsfall didn't trust him, and then when Casey on the right,
it's an aberration, isn't it? It's an absolute.
Yeah.
The pass out is dreadful. I mean,
it was shocking. It was cringeworthy. It was like watching paint dry. You were telling, you heard people say, "Clear it." In the south, you actually physically heard people screaming.
They don't do that anymore, though, do they? That keepers just don't take that option. You know, we were always told as kids, when in doubt, whack it out, clear it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you think you're in danger, what's wrong with just a long ball upfield? It's a lot better than conceding a goal, isn't it? And chucking it up for a 50-50 in midfield.
I remember when Curtis Nelson tried that once.
Have it.
I remember looking at Horsfall when the second goal, third goal came in, when he passed it, and I just looked at Horsfall and he just looked at the keeper at Peacock, and he just looked at me as if, did you honestly just do that? Did you just seriously let a goal in doing a pass back like that? He just was shocked. And after that, it was literally, they didn't want to go forward anymore. They kept passing back. And that was my biggest frustration in the second half, where every single time we were trying to go forward, or you had the midfield, especially Evans. And as much as Evans, his passing was absolutely, is my signal gone?
No, I think that's back.
Can you hear me now, John?
Yeah, it's back, yeah.
The back sound. Sweet. So as much as Evans' passing was absolutely shocking, he was going into the spaces quite well. And the problem that I kept finding was Stevenage kept pressing and pressing and pressing, looking for that foul. They kept passing back, going to the left, Horsfall going up to the left. The ball kept going back. Every time they hoofed it up to try and get something, and you could see Ennis trying to go over to the left-hand side, and you had Fletcher going to the left trying to be a winger. They ended up coming back again, and it was so bloody frustrating because all you wanted them to do was actually to be able to create space in the centre to be able to free up the wingers even more, and it just wasn't happening. And then ultimately, it kept going back to the keeper. You know, you used to go from the top half of the midfield and end up going back to the keeper within 30 seconds. And I'm scratching my head going, what's going on? Like, hoof it, try and bring something up, and it just wasn't happening at all.
Maybe Tim didn't want to go along because it was just coming back time and time again when it did go along. Ash Fletcher again not being an outlet at all, just dominated by the centre half, two centre halves of Stevenage. They just won everything all afternoon.
Yeah, and also anytime Ennis was getting away from them, they were pulling him down, hacking him, doing whatever they had to do to stop him. Because to be fair, even before Ennis scores his goal, I recall there was that time when he turned the defender and absolutely annihilated him and was effectively going to be clean through on goal. And he's hacked down, and arguably because there's a player who could have come across, he only gets a yellow card. And the other centre back then does something incredibly similar. So we would have had two very, very good chances that were denied to us, and all we suffer is a yellow card, or all they suffer is a yellow card. And then, if I recall rightly, those players then get removed, and they bring fresh players on who can do the same thing. So it was incredibly frustrating. And then I think I don't really want me to carry on, but we move on to the second goal, which is a little bit of a hopeful punt upfield by Jordan, isn't it? Jordan Brown. But Ennis springs the offside trap, and I think, another defensive. I think there's 5 defensive errors in that game. I think every single goal you can say is a defensive cock-up, because they basically don't see him coming in on the blind side, and he ends up with as much time as he can possibly want. Sometimes you worry they've got too much time, don't you, in that situation, and they become indecisive. But Ennis wasn't. He picked his spot and buried the ball. Forgotten how much time was left. I think it was probably just over 10 minutes, if I remember rightly. But it at least gave us some hope that we might be able to get back into the game.
Raggy, you back with us?
I think so. I don't know what's going on. I hope you can hear me.
Your son is slating your connection and slating
I
yours.
can see. I can hear him upstairs. Dear me.
Tell him to stop stealing all the Wi-Fi.
It's not a problem not being able to see me so well. That's a good. I know that's what's happening. Yeah, I'm back. Where were we?
So the second goal from Ennis. Obviously, it all went off in the stadium when that went in, and you expected backs to the wall against Stevenage, but it never really happened, didn't it? We didn't really look. But one header from was it Fletcher when he headed it just wide?
Yeah, well, he had a chance of a shot as well. He did have a shot, and he shot wide, didn't he? But I'm in the front of A block, so I couldn't tell how far wide he'd struck that ball, but it looked like he should have been hitting the target. That was late on. But yeah, when Ennis scored that goal, great finish as well. He's cool, isn't he? He is a good player, and he is probably better than this division, but we need players around him, don't we, to help him. But yeah, the stadium started then, didn't it? The noise started again. It looked like we were going to have a go then, and then we seemed to start moving the ball a bit, but not getting anywhere with it.
They also kept the ball down the other end of the pitch. Sorry, Aggie.
Yeah, they did, and well, we give them something to hang on to, didn't we? But we haven't got the personnel to break it down, have we? It was bad news going that far behind against them because they were always going to do what they did. But the personnel, injuries, not enough players. Well, clearly we haven't got the strength in depth. And I just thought overall, it didn't look like there was a game plan, a proper game plan for that system. They didn't seem to know what was going on. And I would say the first thing you do when you're playing like that or with a weakened team is don't make mistakes. Don't make individual errors. And we went for it. When you were saying there, Brad, about Horsfall looking at the keeper, thinking, what have you done there? You're probably thinking, no, you've got me out of jail. At least we've both done one.
To be fair, he was shocking. In all fairness, Butler, their winger, he absolutely owned him throughout the whole game. Kept getting into his ear. Now, I saw it because he was in the corner. And that scrap actually came from Butler. He actually started I forgot who started on one of our lads. But he actually started it, and he started yapping into the linesman, started talking to the ref, and started talking to the ref's face. And he was doing that constantly, especially in the second half, and it was frustrating for me, especially for me to watch it, because it was like, well, hang on a minute, lads, you need to do something about that. You need to shut him up. You need to whack him out of the club. Do you know what I mean? It's not the case of letting him carry on because he's getting away with murder. I think with Brown's cross, which got it to Ennis, I saw it, the way it went through, it was brilliant. And it was one of them scenarios where, because he had the space to be able to, and he didn't have the pressure from Stevenage, that one moment, it was actually a really good pass, I have to say. At first, I thought he thought he'd just go for a shot. But the way Ennis also connected it and lowered it down as well with the first touch was absolutely brilliant. And I think that if that's what we can get as a counter, I'll take that all day long. And if that's the only positive that I'll take away from the game, is if we can get Brown playing, if Evans stops becoming a shit show that he has been since the end of last season, because it seems his form seems to have continued into the start of this game. We've got Honeyman that hopefully, and I've not heard anything from the camp to see what was going on with his ankle or anything at all. I know that Brucey said in the interview yesterday that it's in a boot at the moment, so I don't know if they've been assessing it today. But if we can get them,
heard something today, wouldn't it? But nothing's come out.
It would have been good, to be fair, and it would have probably settled our nerves a little bit as well, because he played really well, and before Coulson changed as well, Coulson was having a game as well, and he was working really, really well. But I do think our defence is lacking at the moment, and I think that one of the lads members did get it right. We need a strong, like an Emilio Heskey type of player who can actually provide the assist for Ennis. I think we need that sort of player at the moment, because at the moment he's not getting any support whatsoever, and there's no options for him. So he's tracking back. He's as if he's doing a Harry Kane for England. He's tracking back to try and get the ball and then make a run for it, and it just doesn't work.
Hopefully that's going to be addressed in the transfer market very soon. Right, let's just close the game off now. Tim, if you look at the end of game stats there,
someone's just put there about.
Come on.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I'm just saying, it looks very much like a Neil Critchley stats for the game. 326 passes, 70% possession. They've done 122 passes, won the game 3-2. Far superior XG to us. That's a 3-5-2.
Yeah,
statistical review of the game, innit? Mitch warned us, didn't he? He was dead against it.
And he was right, wasn't he?
Was.
So, I remember thinking at various points in the second half. I remember when Ennis scored, I said, I think that's our first shot on target in the second half. And I think it was. And that was on the 80th minute. So you're expecting to come out and have a real good go at them. We obviously do the kamikaze first minute, but after that, it was all huff, puff, and nothing really to show for it. And I said, other than Ennis's endeavour and their dark arts on him, there was very, very few positives. Hansen, arguably, you've seen a bit from him, which is good. He looks like he's going to be a good player. But other than that, it's slim pickings, isn't it? And listen, Brucey, don't have Evans as captain, please. And at the moment, I think as soon as we've got players fit, I think he's going to struggle to keep his place in the team if he plays like that.
Albie Morgan's got to come in for him.
You can't have your set. You can't have the person who takes your set plays repeatedly. I mean, Raggy touched on it before. Repeatedly failing to get past the front man, the first man. That's ridiculous. That's things that 13 and 14-year-olds can do consistently. Is beat the first man. You've got a professional footballer who's your dead ball specialist not doing it. It's going to cause you massive problems.
Let's just address this comment that's just come in. Should have thrown Kwasi on for. That's what we were saying for the last 10 minutes.
Anyone that was going to have a goal up front. I mean, that lack of shots says it all. But someone put it up before there. I don't know who it was, Bison's or something. Like too casual lack of concentration, and that's what Evans' game seems like. His whole game seems like that. And Fletcher had that about him on Saturday. And where Brad's saying about them getting into the referee and causing fights and all that stuff, we're supposed to be a team now. We've signed players from the Championship, experienced players that have got promoted out of this division, some big fellas, some people that should know. We've got Steve Bruce as manager. We've got experienced people on the bench. Why are we so bad at that? And why do we fall for it? It seems to be constant. I don't know whether we just see it that way because it's against our club and we probably don't see what we're doing. But it does always appear like we're very weak and very soft when it comes down to play acting and a bit of shithousery. But we don't want to see it. I don't want to see players doing all sorts. But if we're going to lose games because of stuff like that, we need to get at it.
Reggie, we end up getting sent off when we do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. Is that just because we notice it because it's our team? But there's something. Why we sign players like a Horsefall, and I've still not got his name right at the back yet.
Heckway.
I can't say. Anyway, players like this, Honeyman coming in, the seasoned big players that should know. And Steve Bruce is a manager.
And they should have protected him, shouldn't they? They should have protected him.
We should know this, and we should be better at it. And it's strange that we're not. Or do we just not see that we are doing it because it's our team and we only focused on them? But it certainly looked like they did it better than we did it. And we should have expected that from them. That's all they ever do. Especially that big cart horse at the back for them.
Charlie
Dear
Good.
Me. I don't know his name, Perigiani or something, but and Charlie Good, Ebenezer.
He was goading the North when he scored the pen as well.
But
he was the partner of Avett. If memory serves
anyway,
correctly, wasn't
we
he?
need to just get better at it.
Yeah, let's get better. Right, let's rate the players.
Yeah.
10 minutes before cut-off point. This should be quite.
But they obviously knew about it, though. They knew, didn't they?
Right, Tim, you start the keeper. Peacock
4.
Farrell.
4.
4, yeah. Didn't inspire confidence. I think give the other guy a go next game. Wouldn't that be too
I
harsh?
wouldn't. I'd
to?
leave him in, and I'd leave him in, but it's still 4.
Brad, Ollie Casey.
5-.
Raggy. Horsefall.
5.
Tim Heckway.
He's getting a 4 for that stupidity.
Brad, Andy Lyons harshly pulled off at half time.
I am going to give him a 7- because he pulled an absolute shifting on Saturday.
Brown, Raggy. Busy,
Probably
very busy. One of the very
second
few that
best-
came out with any credit, I think.
Yeah, probably the second best player on the pitch on Saturday. So, yeah, 7.5 somewhere.
Okay, Tim.
It's
Lee
another
Evans.
4. It's
He
another
got
4.
6.9 on FOTMob.
That's nonsense, isn't it? It's proper nonsense.
I think you're being a bit generous with 4, to be honest.
Well, I'm saying 4.
Mm.
I'm getting slagged off by Bisons for these scores.
Can I say something? Can I say something about Evans? It actually made me chuckle. It was like towards the end of the second half. My daughter is a midfielder / winger, and while Evans had the ball, she turned around and said, for the first time, I can play better than that player. That just speaks volumes that a 10-year-old thinks she can outplay Evans. And I tell you what, she probably could have on Saturday. Absolute joke he was.
George Honeyman, Brad, our standout player for the half he played.
Oh, he was outstanding. I'd give him an 8+. I do rate him quite highly after watching him on Saturday. Sorry, Bisons. I've just seen the comment. You know, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Your score, Casey's score was harsh, to be fair, I thought.
Well, it's just one of them. It's what I saw. You know, that's my perception, but everyone's got an opinion of it. What did I score him again? I'll give him a
5-, I think.
I'll give him a 5+. I'll reverse my decision, VAR it for League One.
Yeah,
all right?
Andy was put at right back for some bizarre reason as well. A lot more solid.
And that's probably the reason why he was playing. That's why I'm probably assessing it. I think if he played in his natural position, then obviously he'd be in a 7+ straight away. But Honeyman, sorry. I just felt sorry for him because he just had no protection. And I think he would have been our star player, and I think he could have turned the game around had he had the right support. So that's
fingers crossed. He's back soon. Anyway, Raggy, Hayden, Coulson hung out to dry really in the second half. Been put on the right wing. I felt sorry for him almost.
Yeah, he was. I thought he played well, reasonably in first half. I thought he tried and that, but he probably shouldn't be one of our first choice wingers, should he? When everyone's fit, but I would give him 7.
Bison's is giving him a 3, man.
Bloody hell, Bisons. Jesus Christ, calm down, son. Christ.
Right, Tim, Ash Fletcher.
I've had them all tonight, haven't I?
Yeah, the Fletcher of old, unfortunately. Let's have the Fletcher of the second half of last season back.
That's what we need to see. I'm going to give him a 5. I don't think he quite lived up to the performances of others that I've given 4s to. But he wasn't what we want. The way he played on Saturday, he ain't going to be playing because we've got rumours about who's coming in, and if Bloxham's back, and we've got other options. He's going to be benched, and I am really surprised that we didn't bring Kouassi on just to do something different for 10 minutes at the end because he was very ineffectual.
Brad, see this out now. Ennis, our star performer, in my opinion.
A+. I do think he was absolutely fantastic. He was by far the best player on the pitch on Saturday. And if he gets the support, I know we've got Taylor, haven't we? He was going to go to Plymouth, weren't he? So it was one of the players that we've signed. And now we're looking to get other players. I think if he has a good support system, I think he's going to be our top scorer this season. And if from what Bruce is saying, and he's saying that at the end of the transfer window, we're going to have a different squad from what we had on Saturday, I think Ennis is going to be our talisman. I really do. And I think he's going to be scoring goals left, right and centre. And we should get into the playoffs.
Do you know what I like about him? He plays with joy. He looks like he's enjoying himself out there. And I love the comment that one of the reasons he signed from us because he's always dreamt of having fans chant his name and how much that resonated with him on loan. And I've seen him in the lounge, and he's a lovely lad. You know, speaks very articulately, clearly quite intelligent. He's had his mum with him, which is a nice thing to see that, you know, he's come to a game with his mum. Yeah. You know, he's a family lad, clearly. So, listen, he's everything that you want from a centre forward for me. And long may these performances continue, because he will score. He'll score hatfuls if he plays out that every week. On another day, he'd have had 2 or 3 for us on Saturday. And, you know, the reason we didn't get a result lies elsewhere.
Yeah. Well said.
Let's do the 2 subs then, because they've had half a game. Emil, Hansen, Raggy, what did you think?
Yeah, looks good, doesn't he? Looked like he was going to be all right. He'll be, no doubt, holding the first team place down very soon. So for his, you know, 7-ish. I've forgotten what the Tim Fielding scoring rules are. 7-ish.
Fielding player rating system. 7. You can have 7 minus,
plus or
7
minus.
or 7 plus. A 7, I think. Tim, Ryan Finnegan. How much do you think he did?
I think he did all right when he came on.
Yeah, did all right, didn't he?
I don't. All right, you know, nothing.
Gave a lot of energy, didn't he?
Nothing spectacular, but listen, you know, he doesn't get a lot of game time, and he didn't do himself any harm when he came on. Let's put it that way. I think I'll give him a 7. I think he showed plenty of endeavour, put himself about a bit, and contributed towards some of the better play that we got involved in.
It's an improved second half, anyway, wasn't it?
Well, he went straight in there, didn't he? And got the yellow.
Yeah. Manager rating. Now, this will be interesting. So I don't think it's Steve Bruce's finest hour.
No, it's not.
For me, I just couldn't get my head around those subs at half time. I applauded the fact he went to 4-4-2, but putting Casey as a right back and Coulson as a left winger is just mental. So for me, he gets a 4+.
Could you say that it was individual errors that made the issues that we had? And if those individual errors weren't made, we'd be having a different conversation.
You could say that, yes.
You'd be wrong, but you could say that. Was it Clough who said something like that, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah. You're of course right, John. I'm just, you know, being, you know, devil's advocate.
We'll talk about it for 10 minutes, then we'll agree that I was right. I think that's what he said. Something like that, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm going to be not quite as harsh as John. I'm going to go 5+, but I do think, and John's really, I hadn't really thought about it in the way that John's articulated it, but I do think that for the players, we got that wrong in the second half, didn't we? We got that wrong. We didn't play to our strengths. And I generally had assumed that Lyons must have taken a bit of a knock. And so when I hear that he hasn't, and he'd had a decent first half, why are you going to move him from his natural position? Don't make any sense.
Okay. We'll almost call it a day there, but we've got Exeter away next weekend. A chance for atonement. But if we lose this and draw the next, we're already on the back foot for the whole season. And if we want to be looking at automatic promotion, why are we being so undercooked once again at the start of the season? And it's a bit of a pattern that we never seem prepared for season after season after season, do we? After so much promise at the start of summer.
It's frustrating. Now they've moved the championship start back a week.
Well,
I think it's made recruitment even more difficult than it was, because naturally your League One and your League Two teams are going to be looking to recruit a lot of the time from the Championship. But they're going to delay the decisions even longer now. Everybody's playing the tune of the Premier League, aren't they? With who the Premier League going to let out, and they're not going to let anybody out until the last minute because they don't start for another 2 weeks. So I think it's a massive disadvantage. But we seem to, other teams seem to be prepared, and like you say, we're always talking about, and Bruce is talking about, will be a different squad at the end of August. Well, we start on the 2nd of August this year. Seems to get earlier every year, doesn't it? We'll be in July next year. But we start earlier and earlier. That's my point, Tim.
Well, yeah, why?
We're 5 games in. We're 5 games in, aren't we? By the end of August. And listen, I'm not blaming the club. I'm just saying that the decision. You want to sign players, and clubs are not letting them go. The same, because they're waiting for their players to drop in, and they're waiting to see who they can get in on loan. But we seem to be more affected than some other teams are, I think. And maybe that's just, again, taking Raggy's point before, maybe that's just our perception because we're focused on our side, and maybe other teams have some of these problems. And maybe Stevenage, who aren't necessarily in for these type of players, aren't suffering from the same problems. They seem to have a bit more of a settled squad this year.
It can't carry on like this, can it?
Sounds like a darling.
Maggie, you're going to have to sort out your connection. You said it can't happen this can't continue. You're dead
for your McCarthy response then.
You got it. You just broke up though. Anyway, I'm going to Exeter, so I'll be able to regale you with my stories of how long it took me to get there.
Oh, it can.
On the next pod.
4 recharges later. It's all right, Tim. I'm on the EV bandwagon now. Don't worry.
Oh, you joined me, have you? You've joined on the light side.
I've joined the light side. I must admit the taxman don't like me at the moment because I ain't paying him nothing, but it's all good. But I've got a Capri, which apparently isn't a Capri, so it is what it is.
Oh, is it? Are you Bodie or Doyle? You won't remember that.
He's not going to know what you're on about there, Tim. It's only for those of a certain.
Is that Starsky and Hutch, or is that
the professionals?
Oh, the professionals, of course.
They had Ford Capris.
Yeah, pretty good to be fair. Good car. That's what I get for working in a Ford deal.
Right, we'll leave it there then. I think. A good bit of a cathartic session this evening. Let's hope we turn it around against Exeter anyway. Do like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And all remains to be said is thanks for watching, thanks for downloading, and up the pool. Cheers, lads.
Been involved in 2. Can he make 3? Not on this occasion. Well taken by Walsh. Davis is on the far side. Ainscough coming square. That's the ball. That's a good try. What a goal! Oh!